you're walking and say you're at carnival, someone throws a bottle at you, at one of us, it hits your head. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm hurt right now. And they say, oh, there's no intention there.
It was an accident.
Doesn't matter.
I guess.
Does it matter? How do you feel at that point?
I guess you're right in the eyes of the law, but like, I just think the results matter.
Yeah,
so like, I don't really
matter.
give a shit. Like, okay, if somebody hit me with their car on accident or on purpose, I don't give a shit. I got hit by a car.
Because the outcome's the same. Exactly.
So you're right in the eyes of the law, sure, but just personally, I'm like, I don't really give a shit what someone's intentions are.
You've hit the nail on the head there. You've hit the nail on the head because the outcome is the same, which is pain.
No, but let's try this. I like what you said. Because so, let's use that with the Andrew Tate situation. Like if he's intentionally trying to like mentally or whatever abuse someone, we can say he's an asshole. But if he's just like walking home and saying like, hey, like I have this car, this whatever, and someone's, persuaded in a certain way, and that might be abuse or whatever.
I mean,
he's not an asshole in that sense.
I would just disagree that he mentally abused anyone. He allowed those women to be millionaires.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, I'm so curious because this is why this is such a great conversation. You seem to be like quite a proponent of some of his viewpoints. What is it that you like about the things that he's saying?
I think that I think a lot of the stuff he says makes sense. Like, for example, he talks about how men and women are different and they have different roles. I think a lot of times in society, we have women that want to be men and men that want to be women. And I think it leads to people being unhappy in the long term. And it's a lot of bad advice. And he just says that men are different and women are different. I think he says a lot of things that are true. They're uncomfortable. Like old women are less desirable. Women that have slept around are less desirable, but it's true. No dude wants a girl that's been ran through by the whole football team. They just don't. In general, unless there's exceptions, but I think like he's at least honest.
Okay.
And I'll second that. He's merely stating things that most of society thinks behind closed doors. So then point your finger at him and be like, you shouldn't be saying that, I think is very hypocritical because there's a lot of influencers there stating their views. I think there's a young lady that's being compared. Does anyone know her name? I think she's Latina descent. And she's really big on TikTok, and she's making statements about men left, right, and center, and no banning of any sort's been going on. But I think yes, he's extreme in how he says it, but this is what people think.
But sometimes it's goes back to the saying, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. And sometimes when your delivery is very straightforward, very aggressive, very straight to the point, sometimes it comes across quite aggressive, and people will just be like, oh, just write you off straight away. Whereas if your delivery was a bit different, I wonder if Andrew Tate's delivery was different, if he wouldn't have been banned on social media, and if he would have taken him differently.
I think that's a woman's point of view. I think that's a woman's point of view, though, because men communicate differently than women.
Yeah,
and it's again, it goes back to like women trying to make men women, but they're not. They're men.
Yeah,
and men 100%. Communicate differently than women. They're more direct. They're more honest. Typically, I mean, like how many times. Like, I mean, I've had so many girls on this show tell me that Lizzo is like above a 5, which is just like it's Lizzo. Like, stop.
But everyone's scale is different at the end of the day. What your 5 is,
someone else.
Someone else is different.
I think objectively, like if you're 300 pounds, you're below a 5.
That's your opinion, though. That's your opinion.
I mean,
that's your opinion.
Okay, but it's based off of reality, which women don't like to live in, because even this is like not reality, and you know it on some level, because if you walk into a bar with Lizzo, you guys are all going to get more attention than Lizzo. Like
not
necessarily like if you're looking for exceptions, it's not the rule. Like you could take dating app data where we let's put your profile and Lizzo's profile. Who's going to get more attention? It's going to be you. We could go into a modeling agency and say, who are they going to sign, you or Lizzo? In general, unless you do that Victoria's Secret the new body positivity type shit. I know again exceptions, but whenever you go anywhere where there's like an objective standard of beauty where like people find this the most attractive in general, you guys are all prettier than Lizzo. And that's not.
I guess my question is, and I think you make some again interesting points around like it's really helpful to see that. Like I don't know if you guys always see like the stats that come out from certain dating apps. I don't know if I'm allowed to say certain names, but they produce these stuff, right? Like who comes out as the most desirable women. my question would be,
and modeling agencies.
and modeling agencies, by whose beauty standards?
I was just gonna say that.
I mean, I would say like collectively society as a whole. So if you survey men and women as a whole, and if you survey men and women as a whole in general in most societies, in most societies throughout the world, everywhere, I guarantee, like just based on, let me finish. In most societies throughout the world, everywhere, if we put a picture of you guys and a picture of Lizzo, if you ask most guys and most girls, they would find you more attractive.
In West Africa?
And except they always, this is what girls do. Like, sorry, I've been doing this a couple months, not you personally, but like this is what they'll do. They'll bring up the one exception, and that one society in West Africa. You're right. There's one society in West Africa where that is the exception, but everywhere else, that is the rule.
I think that's such a Eurocentric way of viewing beauty. You look at the size of Africa. Look at the size of Europe.
I won't even do all that. I think what we can also look at is just beauty standards shift, right? Like I was 10 years 100%. ago, having a fat ass was like, okay, you. But nowadays it's like, if you don't have a fat ass, you're not attractive.
Exactly.
Right?
So that stays a while.
Wait, talking to your.
Sorry, it stays a while when there's a standard set. So let's say 10 years ago, being a supermodel thin was in fashion. It will stay there for a little bit, then come another trend.
Yeah.
So it's not like it just changes.
But the point I'm making is that the issue that I'm having is, and I agree with you. It's weird. I didn't think I was going to disagree with you as much as I'm doing today. But when it comes down to that number of like, or you're a 5 and below, it's like, okay, 10 years ago, if I had a fat ass, then I'm a 5 and below.
But I didn't say 10 years ago. I said today.
But I'm just saying, like, it shifts. So for you to say, like, I'm not going to comment on Lizzo, but for you to say that so definitively that if you're over this, you're that, I think that's what people have a hard time dealing with. And on top of that, it's like, we connect that. What's that 5 mean?
Okay. Do you think in most of human history, there probably wasn't even women over 300 pounds in most of human history. But since the development of like obesity, has obesity ever been desired by and large by men? By and large,
I can't comment on that. I can't comment. I don't know.
Come on, just with your common sense. Just with your common sense.
I mean, with my common sense, I want to say no, but that's from my bias, right? Like, I don't know what the...
Just by and large.
I just think, personally speaking, in London, in terms of 2022 now, what is considered like a 10 is very different, like we said, was 5 years ago. And I'm not going to lie, being thick, which is... thick comes in all different shapes and sizes. Thick can go from somebody that is, let's say, a size 12, but she's got really thick thighs or a big bum or something, to someone that's a size 18. It is different. I would say I don't personally agree to say someone that's over 300 pounds would then be considered below a 5. I don't personally agree with that. And I think a lot of, I'm going to say, especially in London, specifically, I don't think a lot of people are going to sit there and say that. I
mean, I think sometimes like you have a warped worldview because like the society is made for women. So like 70 to 80% of consumer buying decisions are made by women. And so you see the whole media is tailored towards women. So when you see women in the media, it's like pretty much just to cater to women. But the thing is, like, the majority of the most desired women, if they're thicker, they have a small waist. It's always been the hourglass.